Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rucha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is a response. So who is the king in Deuteronomy Chapter 28, verse 36? And pretty much this is a response to Elder Apostle Gabar's video. I watch Elder Apostle Tar's video also. And as you can see here, I'm almost at the 30-minute mark watching the Apostle's video. And it inspired me to do a response to this video. Lord's will, it'll be edifying. I'm going to read it. Just want to make a couple of points, and then hit the main point. And then just take it from there. And pretty much when we read Deuteronomy 28:36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And pretty much that's dealing with King David, And the apostle was going into it. And as I was meditating on this, the one thought that came to mind was in the book of Hosea, the 3rd chapter, which Lord's will, we're going to hit that. That's the main scripture, and there's others, but that's one of the main ones. And, to prove that it's speaking about King David. Now, in the case of these individuals that are trying to stump Israel, stump the Israelites with that question, which ultimately is dealing with King David. That's who it's dealing with, King David. And when we read the 28th chapter, the 15th verse, it says, But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And pretty much from the 16th verse down to the 68th verse, it gives you a list of different curses that will come upon our people for disobeying the Lord. Now, obviously, some of these precepts, precepts here don't apply in certain captivities, because in certain captivities we didn't have land, we didn't have vineyards, we didn't have trees, we didn't have homes, we didn't have cattle, it applied in different times, in different time periods. One of the very first times when these curses really started kicking us in the ass as a nation was during the time of the Judges, where we went under captivity under several of those different nations, the Moabites, the Ammonites, and the different, Canaanites and different nations that were in that area, that we went into captivity under, whatever prospective tribe was, whatever prospective nation it was, for however long it was, sometimes 18 years, sometimes 5 years, 10 years, depending on the timing. I'm just throwing out some estimated dates, and some of these applied then, but not every single curse is going to apply to every single captivity, because the Lord threw a whole list of stuff that would come upon us. When we jump down to the 45th verse, it says, Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. So wherever we went on the planet, wherever we were scattered to, which that was one of the curses, we would be scattered to the four corners of the earth. These curses would follow us everywhere we go. So every nation that we were in captivity under, these curses applied to us in one way or the other, whether all of them or some of them. But nevertheless, this is what the Lord said would happen. They would come upon us, they would pursue us, they would overtake us until we be destroyed. And there is not a nation more destroyed than we are. Even though now the Lord is bringing back that healing and building the nation back up, but still, as we speak to this at this very day, January 12th, 2023, the year of hopefully all the prophecies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai coming to pass, we are still cursed as a people. We are still destroyed as a people. We are still on the bottom, but pretty soon the Lord is going to deliver us. It says, Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So whatever captivity we fell into, all of these curses apply to us in one way or the other. If we didn't have land, guess what? This applied in another time frame or another captivity. If we didn't have cattle, guess what? That applied in a different captivity. If we didn't have homes, so on and so forth, that applied in different captivities. But one way or another, every captivity we went into, some or all of these curses came upon us, and no different from the one in Deuteronomy 28 and 36. All right, which is dealing with King David. Now, when we went into captivity, the first kingdom, or the first half of the kingdom that went into captivity was who? The northern kingdom. Did they not have a king over them? King Hosea? Did he not go into captivity under the Assyrians? So this would apply to him at that time. Then when you move up into the, if they want to play that game, then when you move up into the Babylonian times, you had Jehoiachin, which was brought into captivity. He was deposed and brought into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar, and his uncle Zedekiah was put into place as a puppet leader, and eventually he was taken down and went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. So that's three kings right there that went into captivity in those times, if they want to play those games. But ultimately, this is dealing with today, King David. How do we know? Because when we go to Hosea, the 3rd chapter, and the 4th verse, it says, "For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king." And that's exactly what happened. At this time, when these kings went into captivity, Hosea, Jehoiachin, Zedekiah, we had kings, and there were plenty of kings. But from that point until now, we had nothing. Yahushua came on the scene. He showed us the way. He's the ultimate king. But there are kings set up on the earth, as it states in, I believe that's Psalms either 132 or 122. I always get that one confused. Let's go to 122. More than likely it's Psalms 122. Right. Psalms 122 and 5. "For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David." So there are thrones that are already established. The Most High is overall, Then you have Yahushua, who is the second in command, who the Lord put in charge of everything. He is the ultimate king over everybody on the earth except for the Most High. Then you have King David, which is the king, the next in line. All right, and he will be on the earth once again, reigning and ruling with a crown on his head, a scepter in his hand, and giving out orders. All right, so it says, "For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king." That's talking about in these times now, and without a prince, all the way from then, even till this very time, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, without any of these things, and without teraphim, which a teraphim is an idol, family idol, but it doubles down into the Hebrew word tharapah, and rapah goes into the word healing, without a healer, because we were not healed for a long period of time. We were sick. And what healed us? The word of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, by putting the spirit on a man by the name of Elder Abba Bivens, who is John the Baptist, and also Elijah coming back, and many other great men in the past. We believe through faith that that's who he is, that brought back the word of the Lord to us. The Lord inspired him, and those words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai helped to heal us. So we remain many days without a healer. It says afterward. After what? After all of these curses done, took us down, beat us down, smacked us around, overtook us, destroyed us, shall the children of Israel what? Return, because the Lord caused us to return back by who? By the mouth of John the Baptist / Elijah / Elder Abba Bivens, if you can receive it. Malachi 4 and 5, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." This didn't happen 2,000 years ago, because a dreadful day of the Lord is about to happen right now. So the Lord said he will send him in these times. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. Why? Because the fathers would be turned away. They would not have the right way. So they had to be turned back on the right path. You will hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. And the heart of the children to their father. So we had to return back to who we were because we lost our way. It says, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. All right. So when we go back to Hosea 3 and 5, afterwards, meaning after all of this that we went through, after we were brought down to the lowest point that we could ever go, shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their power and David their king. Because when we went into captivity, we all went into captivity. Northern kingdom went into captivity under the conquistadors. The southern kingdom went into captivity under other Edomites that were brought over to this side of the world, different so-called European Edomites. And they were brought over to this side of the world to suffer captivity. And guess what? King David was on one of those ships. Who he was, we don't know. But he was on one of those ships being brought over here to the Americas in captivity. Because it says here, afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their power and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness. What? In the latter days. And we are in the latter days right now. And what's being established right now is the house of David. You cannot establish the house of David if you do not have David. All right? The latter days. Latter, the word there is acharyath. After, part, end, issue, event, latter time, prophetic for future time. And this is what we're dealing with. Prophetic for future time. So in the last days, the latter days, which we're in now, they shall seek David their king, the Lord their power and David their king. And, you know, I have to say it this way, that none of us, including the brothers that came in during the YouTube era, would have ever known anything about this truth, this knowledge, unless we received it from the teachers at One West. No one else on the planet is teaching this. You didn't wake up one day and pick up the book and just, you know, you were such in such a lamentable and mournful state that you popped the Bible open and it just opened up to Deuteronomy 28 and you started reading and you said, oh my God, this is dealing with us. That's got to be about the most absolute bunch of nonsense I've ever heard, you know. I wanted to say something else, you know, inside joke, but I'm not gonna. I'm working on fumes. Forgive me, you know. I really didn't get that much sleep last night. Getting ready to, you know, move out, so got a lot to do. So this is pretty much it. And shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. So they shall seek the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. So this king here in Deuteronomy 28:36 is dealing with King David. And if you want to play those other games, well, yeah, okay, well, it applied. We read the 45th verse and the 46th verse that this would be upon us no matter where we went. So it would have applied to King Hosea of the northern kingdom, it would apply to Jehoiachin, King Zedekiah of the southern kingdom, if you want to play those games. But ultimately it's talking about King David in these times. All right. So with that, you know, that would been, you know, my response to the videos that Elder Pastor and Elder Pastor Gabar did. So who is the king in Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 36? That's King David. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.